Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It's mid-October now, and it's a pretty day today, except for the wind. Boy, it's really howling. There's a cold front coming down from the north, and it's really got the wind blowing out of the south, heading up that direction. So I thought I would shoot a homestead update. It's been quite a while since I've done one, and I think late July. But we've had 2 freezes so far. Light ones, but it's starting to take its toll, and I wanted to get a shot of my wife's flower beds before they're totally taken out, and walk around and show you what we've got going on. So real quick, I'm going to walk around the flower beds here, because I usually do that last. I'm going to do that right up front this time. So this is the north side, and it's where you usually put our elephant ears, and these elephant ear bulbs are ones that we stored over winter last year and replanted them. They looked really bad, the bulbs, but they came back just fine. And we had some smaller ones that we put down by the cellar, and I'll show you that in a minute. But you can see the freeze is taking its toll. Tropical plants, they don't like that cold. But the leaves closest up to the house are doing okay so far. But yeah, one more freeze will take them out. We'll need to dig up those bulbs and get them stored down there in the apartment like we did last year. That worked out pretty good. We also saved the dahlias, but the dahlia bulbs didn't come back. We didn't do something right there. But you can see a little bit of freeze damage on these, and I'll get my wife to look in on this video, and I'll put in names of all these plants. I think that's a rhododendron. And I think these are a variety of impatient. Not sure what these are called. But yeah, this one, the frost had got it. And I think these were coleus right here, and the freeze has got them. Well, they kind of look like that, but these here were darker, and dark red. They're really pretty. Got some cannas. There's a little rose right there, and circling around the front, so this is facing west. She's got some pretty mums, roses. Not sure what that big plant is, but I hope it doesn't get much bigger than that. So the begonias and marigolds, they're really pretty. They turned out well. That's a pretty contrast, that red and yellow. And these dark red plants here are really pretty. Crepe myrtles, got a pretty red flower on there. There's some of these on the south side as well. These cannas here got really big, but they don't have much of a flower, so she's not too happy with those. She wants a bigger flower, so these I think are going to get dug up and relocated. This plant here, the butterflies and bees really like it. Those little purple flowers, there must be a lot of nectar in those. This hibiscus here usually has big red flowers all over it. It's really pretty. Here's one right here that happened to bloom, and these blooms don't last long, but man, they are sure pretty. But it's just covered with the blooms in the spring and summer. And here's a dahlia. Dahlias aren't as big and pretty this year as they were last year. And this thing here is too big. We're going to dig that out and move that. It's a lot bigger than what she expected. And the Boston ferns up there and the planters turned out really pretty. this rose bush here. So got a lot of blooms on it. I think that's a chrysanthemum right there. There's a little freeze damage right there on that one. Here are those dark crepe myrtles. I think they're really pretty, contrasted up against that lighter brick on the house. I really like those. There's one of those tall bushes there. So this is the south side, so it gets sun pretty much all day. And coming around to this southeast corner. Oh, so it's before the freezes, we picked all the tomatoes, and these were green as a gourd, and got them out here ripening these warm sunny days. So that may be future salsa. This here's a lot of roses in this spot, and looks like some iris. That rose there's really pretty, and some dahlias back in there. Like I said, the dahlias this year weren't near as pretty. They weren't as big. And this is a surprise it survived. This is a bougainvillea, so that's a tropical. You can see it's wilted a little bit. So those were outside our hotel window in Acapulco on our honeymoon 22 years ago. And I never did get this trellis hooked up to the wall, so that'll be a good fall project I need to get done. I need to cut me some metal straps and get them attached up there and get that away from the brick. So she's got this climbing rose bush going here. And this side here has kind of struggled. These little plants here got killed back in that real hard freeze 2 years ago. We think they're going to come back, but they're slow coming back. There's some more tomatoes. And the ferns, we pulled the ferns back away from they were out here to get them out of protect them a little bit for the cold. And then on around here we have, so these irises are, they will bloom in the fall, but they haven't started yet. Still got the watering system going on them. And we put some of the extra elephant ear bulbs right here. And we just kind of put some daylilies right there just to kind of fill it in and save the bulbs. There's some of those irises. And she purchased some Russian sage, which I've been trying to get going for a while. And that's going to go down by the chicken pen fence. And that's really good forage for bees. And it's very drought hardy. So let's run down here to this garden by the bunker. It's pretty much done. These Asian lilies bloomed really pretty in the summer. I've got this drip system going in here now, keeping it nice and watered. And I run it here off this spigot. Run it for about an hour and a half, once or twice a week. And it also waters in here. We still haven't finished this up. So with her falling down, hurting her wrist and shoulder, she wasn't able to get out here, until it got way too hot. So put a few of those leftover elephant ear bulbs, the little bitty ones, the babies, out here to just preserve them and keep them going. We cleaned this area up here. This was all overgrown. And when you back out the driveway, we were running into tree limbs, so we trimmed all this up and burned all that. And she cleaned this all up. And the flower beds down here, they didn't get a lot of attention this year. Most of the work was done up around the house, but this is stuff that's mainly perennials. And I got the watering system also going down in here. It's hard to get the water down here. It's not working quite right. I'm going to change it up and put some different emitters on there instead of that soaker hose. That soaker hose is just not soaking very well. And there's one other little spot there. And around here, this one here, that big old mineral rock. That came from Mena, Arkansas at a rock shop. And they said it came out of somewhere there was a mine in Missouri. That's it for there. So I told you about the drought in many of my videos, and we haven't been trying to water where we can. But this little tree here was an evergreen, and it's taken care of itself pretty much. And it turned brown on us before we caught it, before I noticed, and didn't get enough water on it. It is dead. So that's a shame. That's a 7-year-old tree we planted. And these other shrubs though have done okay. This is a volunteer peach that we just threw the peach pits in a little indentation right there, and one grew. A lot of dead trees in here. I'll be taking these out this winter. So those are elms that have died from Dutch elm disease. Down here you can see the bark coming off them. So I'll take all those out this winter. Let's get on into the apartment, show you what's going on in there. Okay, in here got some of the Ceracell parts that they sent, and you saw that in a prior video probably. And today I'm going to try and get out and put at least one of these Hive Defender bottoms on there with the beast blocker. And here's a little bit of my fall honey. So it's not dark like normal, and that's because there was a drought. The drought in the fall, there was no nectar coming in the fall, so that's really, it's about half spring honey from Hive 2 that I didn't harvest, and then they filled out the rest of the, so it was about half full. They filled out the rest of the super through the summer, and then I had 2 other supers that had some in it from other hives. So that's late summer and half spring honey. It is a little darker, but not much. But it basically tastes like the spring honey. It doesn't have the rich fall flavor. And here's spring honey I have bottled ready to sell. Sales have slowed down a little bit, so need to get that going. And let's see, I've been feeding. There's all my sugar bags, 25-pound bags. I need to make another trip to Walmart and take care of that, get some more. And here's my feeding buckets. I got some new buckets and lids that fit now. And I've got some of these little valves I installed. I like these for the liquid feed, but not for honey bottling. They're too small. Even the liquid feed, this is a little bit restricted. So what I did, and I need to do it to this one, I take a hacksaw and cut it off right in here, so it's a bigger opening and it comes out a little faster. So yeah, I've got 4 or 5 gallon jugs going here. That one there's full. It has feeding stimulant in it, so I don't put that on the hives. I'm open feeding with that one. But yeah, I'm mixing it up and getting the feed on the hives. I have like 11 hives that I'm feeding internal or with the top feeder. Something new I'm doing this year, I've got a 6-pound or half-gallon jug, and I'm selling these for $45, which that's a bargain because normally that much honey would be $60. So you're saving the cost of the squeeze bottles and all that. So I think these jugs are, I think they're a little over $2 each with the caps. And I got this from USA Plastics. And here is my, whoa, behold, the Cell top feeder. The wood part's outside. I've done some painting. I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, I'm going to try and put this on today, if the wind will cooperate. Got some cappings in here. Did my father-in-law's hives. He had 3 supers full, and then I did my fall. And that's the cappings from all of that. And I've already got the honey out of the cappings tank. Still need to get this outside and hose it down, get it cleaned out inside, and I'm going to store it in this apartment this year instead of out in the garage area, because nothing is going on out here, and I've got this room in here. It's a good place to store stuff. And this is where we keep our spring seed growing thing. We're a seed starter. Got our grow lights up in here, and got my bottling tank put away and cleaned up. My cappings tank, new one, is here. I got my casters in, but I haven't put them on yet. That's a good cool weather project when you don't want to work outside. So there they are. I think they're 1 1/4 inch is what they are crossways here, and they got the 90-degree little flange on them, so I can attach them to the legs. Man, that thing is shiny. You can already see where it begins and ends. Storing my honey buckets in here. So that's I got 2 left to fill that up, and I'll be done. And those 2 have honey in them. Brought in all the sprayer from the garden for the freeze. Got a few red onions down there. They're trying to grow, but I need to do something with those. Anybody lives around me wants some red onions, come get them. We've got onions out the wazoo. So I got 2 5-gallon buckets of honey left that I haven't bottled or anything. So I need to do something with that before it starts to crystallize, because you don't want it crystallizing in those buckets. I don't have a bucket heater, so if that happens, I'll have to get me a bucket heater. All right, let's get out to the back and show you what's going on out there. Stocked up on chicken feed and bird food. I had a bunch of unused points that I didn't know about at Tractor Supply, so did that last weekend. Got some frames in the freezer here, keeping them protected from the critters, the wax moth larvae, and I didn't have room for all of them, so I put some in the fridge. So those are hanging out in there. Here's the other wax capping tank. Focus. And it's pretty full, so I need to melt my wax. And back in here, I've assembled some boxes and some stuff and been painting on it, and I've been working on wax a little bit. I did one melt off of my scraps. You know, when you do your hive inspections and you have some scraps, like I saved that up, and I got a 1-pound block. I'll stick a picture of that in here, or you can check it out on my Facebook page. There's all my honey supers stored away. And I didn't get this one wrapped. Like, these 2 are wrapped in plastic, and I didn't get this one wrapped, but it's treated. So with this freeze coming on, we should be pretty good, I think. The wax moth crystals that are in there will be sufficient till the end of the year. Got a few deeps here with some deep frames in them, and they are treated as well. Got a couple of nukes over here. So something that I've had built for a while, and I'm finally going to use it, and I'll show you what it is. And I did a couple of modifications. So I've got 3 week hives, and I want to combine them, but I want to save all 3 queens. So hive 12 is fairly good size, so, but it's weak. But I was going to do a double screen combine. So here's a double screen. So you can see it's separated by, oh, I don't know, the 1/4 inch right here. So there's 2 screens, one on each side, and there's an airspace between them. So the bees can't touch. So queen pheromones won't cross. So it's got these little entrances that you can open. There's ones on the bottom and the top. So you can separate your hives from the top and bottom. They'll have different entrances. So maybe you want a front and a back, or a side and a side, whatever you want. So this is good for combining 2 week hives, and the warmth from the bottom goes up and keeps the one on the top warm, and they kind of share a space. So it makes 2 small colonies seem like they're a little bigger. Helps them through winter. So this here is kind of the same concept, but it's side by side. I made this quite a while back. It's just a deep box, and I put a divider in it, and it's got these little entrances that I can lock down or open, or put an excluder on, or whatever I want to do. And there's one on each side. So I'm going to put 2 colonies in here, and I'm going to put them on top of number 12. So something that I modified and changed yesterday. I was out here. I added these screens right here. So there's ventilation between the 2 sides, but there's no space there, so the bees can't actually touch. I don't know if that's going to be a thing or not. We'll see. So I built this bottom as well that's got a screen, but it's a double-sided, just like the double screen board. And this will let the heat from hive 12 go up into these 2 hives here. So this is going to go on the bottom. And then this solid will be the top. I can't use an inner cover because it's a little recessed, and it would let the bees cross. Or I'd have to build that up somehow, or put a strip on the inner cover that covers up this little board right here, so they can't cross over. But I'm just going to go with this for now. And so there'll be 2 in this and 12 on the bottom. So we're going to do a 3-way combine. All right, let's go out back. One of these days I need to do a toolbox tour video. I'll show you my socket drawer. Behold. Oh. So this side is all SAE, this side's all metric. And impacts chrome, 1/2, 3/8, 1/4. Different size hex, star splines, and reverse stars. All right, let's get outside. So like I said, I've been open feeding. And looks like this one's empty, and they're working on that one. So I'll go fill these up here in a little bit. Let's see, I've done this 3 times. And that's 2.5 quart. So that's a gallon. A little over a gallon. So I've done 3 gallons so far. So I've been painting. I got 4 new supers from Hilco, and I've added the 9 frame divider, and this deep is from Texas Bee Supply. They had some labels I wanted, just the little round labels that say wildflower on them, and can't find those anywhere else, so I ordered them from them, and then I threw in a deep box to get the free shipping. And I've got 2, these are 2 treated bottoms from Man Lake. so they kind of had a green tint to them. There you can see. So these are treated bottoms. So he's got two coats of paint on them now. And also from Hilco, I had, I think, 5 more bottom boards. Hilco bottoms have the it's not plywood. I don't think it's 1x. I'm not sure what thickness it is, but it's a lap joint. So that's how they make theirs. But I like them. They're reversible. The Man Lakes are as well, so you can have your narrow entrance here, or flip it, and you can have your 3/4 entrance, which this is how I run mine. That's why I didn't paint in here. And this is my Cerasil feeder wood base with a spider and a bee. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get that on there today. So now let's talk fruit trees and garden. So the wife bought 5 fruit trees. She bought a new cherry, because remember I had the little dinky cherry I got on eBay and it died. So she bought a nice one from a local nursery, a place called Markham's, and got that sucker in the ground, watered them in real good. And the pear tree that was here that died, I pulled the tractor up here and hooked a chain on it and pulled it right out. But we didn't put anything back here. Wife's afraid that there may be water standing here, but I don't know. It gets so dry out here. But I'll probably put something in there later. There's the other pear tree. Little apple tree, we got like 2 apples off of it. While we're over here, I'm going to show you the big Back to Eden garden, which should be called Back to Weeding garden, because I did a lot of weeding here just recently. This thing, that's asparagus, but the grass weeds was that high in here. But it was mainly in these rows where there was bare dirt, not wood chips, and the little spots where the watermelons were growing. Watermelons were a bust for us. It was great for the raccoons and whatever else got in here. We got quite a few cantaloupes out of here. That was good. And I got a gopher, of all places. I guess this is a good place for a gopher because it's nice moist ground. So the freeze killed the tomatoes, and you saw the green tomatoes on the porch. That's where they all came from. This asparagus. So yeah, these got started too late. I think we didn't get any spring tomatoes off them, but the fall ones were really good. But we had an early freeze, and I was going across here with my tractor, not paying attention. I ran into this, so I gotta fix that. Chickens are liking the cool weather. They've got goldenrod blooming in there, but it's really dry, so it didn't do much. Nectar-wise for the bees. Wow, it's windy. So this garden here, it did pretty good this year. The bean tunnel grew like crazy, but it didn't produce hardly any beans, and I'm not sure why. The freeze has got it mostly, but most of the beans were out here, not on the inside. There were a lot of blooms inside, but they all fell off. So I'm not sure why they fell off, if it was because it got really hot this year, hotter than normal. So these are the beans it makes, and these are good beans, but there's just not enough to harvest. Got a lot of jalapenos off of these. Just made some cowboy candy and got it all canned. You can see the tomatoes are pretty much dead. But the wife got out here and pruned them up really good from the bottom, and they're really pretty. So there's a few on here that are ripening up, and we've been coming out and collecting them. There's a couple right there. I'm hoping we got enough for a batch of salsa. But yeah, these vines are done. You can see the freeze has really hurt it back, and then down low it's still a little bit green. That's pretty much it for here. This stuff here, I don't know what it is. It's wild, some kind of weed, man. It just took over. I'm planning on getting my garlic out there and planting it on this other side. That was my project this week. I didn't get that done though. Cilantro come back nice from the seed. Just volunteer. And this year we got some passion fruit. There's quite a few of these out here on this passion vine. There's a couple small ones right there. Here's a big one right here. I'm not sure what those taste like. It's kind of soft. I can squeeze it pretty easy. It's not like a lemon or an orange. It feels like it's hollow. And these flowers here are pretty much done. There were dahlias right there. I should have done this a month ago. Sorry. This one giant tomato plant here is loaded with smaller tomatoes that are just too green probably. So yeah, here's where I'm going to put my garlic. I got to get all that stuff cleaned out of there. Chickens are doing good. We'll run down and let's head down this way. I'll show you the other fruit trees we got going. So this little tree here, it's a weird thing. It's a plum cot, half apricot or half plum. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's half plum and half apricot, or maybe half plum, half kumquat. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm working on the getting the water run over here to it. But she bought those online. And there's another one over here. I think this is a plum. Yeah, Santa Rosa plum. Working on my water line here. So I had water already coming over here. There was some kind of tree here. I think it was an apple that died. The graft just didn't work out. So this is a peach. Looks like the wind blew most of the leaves off of it. That's a nice big peach tree. All right, let's get down and I'll recap what's going on with the bees and end this video. Okay, so I'm a little concerned about the bees going into winter. If you watched my last video, I did a weight check, and about a third of them aren't where they need to be as far as weight in their food stores. So the ones with the bricks are feeding internally, and also feeding this little nuke right, or this little single hive right here. So that is what's left of all my nukes that finally got combined down, and there's one queen left in there. Got Dave Rowden's insulated top board on there that he gave me. So yeah, those 3 hives right there, 2 of them were pretty light and one was medium light. So one's got a top feeder and the other 2 have frame feeders on either side of that one there in the middle. I reduced down most of my entrances with just putting little blocks up there to keep cold wind out when winter gets here. So when I'm running these feeders, I take the inner cover off, and I've got them all stacked up right there. in a hive 19 position. But this hive here, you can see it's got that screen bottom board. It's falling apart. I did raise it up and scoot it up, so it was narrowing down their entrance. It was very narrow, so I fixed that. But I will probably put that hive defender bottom right there, and I may put the other one right here with this hive 12 that's got the beast blocker, because those beast blockers are designed to go with that bottom. But you can see there, these bees down here on the bottom trying to get in, those are robber bees. Had a bee get in my hair trying to sting me. So the bees from this hive know how to get in and out right there, but these robber bees are trying to get in there because they smell that syrup, but they can't figure out how to get in there. So that's what that does. So yeah, like I said, the ones with the bricks I'm feeding. And I run out of bricks, so that little stack right there, you can see the feeder right there on top feeder. But yeah, hive 12 right there, that's the one I'm going to put that double nuke box on top that I showed you that there in the barn. So that'll be a video coming up. Well, so that's it. I know it was long, they always are. For those of you that like these, I know you really like them. Thanks for sticking around and watching it all. But that's it for the fall. Hopefully those trees do good. And I need to get my beehives up to weight. So that's what I'm focused on right now. And today I'm gonna finish off those watering systems on those trees. And I need to give all my fruit trees a round of water, and I can't do that till I fix that because it's got an open end on it. So that is it. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe on your way out, and we'll catch you on the next homestead update. It'll probably be snowing. We'll see. Y'all take care.